Hi, I'm Pat Hardin. I grew up one of 12 kids in a large Catholic family in Jacksonville, Florida. Attended Catholic school. I went to Mass every day. I was an altar boy. Won the most religious student award in the school when I was in the 8th grade, and considered that perhaps I might be a candidate for the first American Pope. I felt like I was a really religious guy. I said my prayers every day that my parents and teachers had taught me. I was literally in church every single day and up on the altar feeling like I was part of things. And then I got in junior high school and discovered girls and realized the papacy was not for me. I would never be the first American Pope. I would rather be married. So by my senior year in high school, I'd been dating a girl for a year and a half, and I told her that things had to change. So we broke up. And just before I graduated, I'd started doing some things that I shouldn't have done that were illegal, that altered my consciousness for a brief time. It made me feel better about myself. Eventually, we got back together right before graduation and began a more physical relationship through the little bit of college that I went to before I dropped out due to my involvement with mind-altering substances. So getting married at age 20 to that girl, I felt obligated to her since we had both pledged ourselves to each other for life. We didn't go to church together or separately. I still prayed on occasion, but it was just the prayers that I'd memorized as a kid, thinking of them, I guess, as like a talisman, something that would bring me good luck and good fortune. Well, my marriage went downhill fairly quickly, and in 4 years we were divorced, and I was depressed and suicidal and wondering what happened to this God that I thought worshiped my whole life. So a month before my 25th birthday, I finally convinced a girl at work. I had started a job at the post office a few months earlier and saw this girl. So I asked her to just go have coffee with me, and she agreed. We're sitting in a Shoney's at 4 o'clock in the morning, and she's telling me that there's no way she'll go out with me because I'm not a Christian. And I said, "Oh, but I am." She said, "Don't you know that Jesus teaches in the Bible, you'll know a tree by its fruit?" So I asked her, "What do you mean by that?" She said, "Well, you can't possibly be a Christian and live the way that you live, because a Christian will have Christian fruit in their life." And I said, "So what is this Christian fruit?" She said, "Well, according to Galatians 5:22 and 23, it's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control." I said, "That doesn't make any sense." She said, "You see, there came a point in my life as a teenager when I recognized that I wasn't following the way of Jesus. So I asked him to forgive me, to come into my life, in my heart, and to change me." She said, "It changed everything. It changed my perspective. It changed what I believe. It changed the way that I live. And if you're not changed, then there's no way you could know who Jesus is." So I went home 5 o'clock in the morning, got on my knees. Being a good Catholic boy, I thought your prayers didn't count if you didn't kneel. So I knelt down beside that bed and I poured my heart out to God. I asked him to forgive me for all the things I'd done, legal and illegal, for all the lives that I'd ruined, the relationships that I'd manipulated. And I asked him if it was possible to forgive me, would he show me how to be a Christian? And instantly it felt like someone had plugged me into an electrical socket. I felt this wave of energy course through my body. And the next thing I knew, I was weeping into this borrowed bed. I found out months or maybe years later when I read through the book of Acts and studied Paul's conversion that I had had a similar experience to what Paul experienced on his way to Damascus to persecute Christians when he encountered the resurrected Jesus. And I knew that in that moment, at 5 o'clock in the morning in a borrowed bedroom, that I had encountered the resurrected Jesus. But I got up from there. I got rid of all my paraphernalia and illegal substances. I went to work the next night and I told this girl what had happened, and she kind of patted me on the back and thanked me for sharing. And for the next couple of days, I kept begging her, "Please let me go to church with you. Show me what I'm supposed to do. I want to be a Christian. I'm trying to read the Bible. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense." So eventually she took me to church with her. She actually agreed to go out with me, and 7 months later accepted my proposal and became my wife. And I owe everything I am and have today to Joy for being willing to stand up for what she believed in, for challenging me to consider what I believed and to be willing to make a change if what I believed was wrong. Because I believed if you went to church enough, you'd be a good guy and you'd go to heaven. And I was wrong. So in that bedroom, when Jesus met me at my hour of greatest need, I became a follower of His. And I became a Jesus follower for a reason, because I wanted to know, A, that I had eternal life, but B, I wanted a better life than what I had now. And He's given me that. For over 35 years, I followed Him. And there's nothing like it. I'm still not perfect. All you'd have to do is ask my family or anybody on our church staff, and they'll tell you I still make mistakes. But my prayer every day is that I would be more like Jesus today than I was yesterday, and that I'll be much more like Him tomorrow than I am today. I hope and pray that you'll encounter the resurrected Jesus the way that I have, and that you'll have the same desire to follow Him more completely today than you ever have before. Thanks.